What is up, everybody? How are we all doing? Just accidentally messed something up. The timer's supposed to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I just bricked that. It's whatever. We got a cool stinger. That's all I can want for this stream. I don't care how many errors we have, as long as the cars get out on time. Welcome in, everybody. Shorter time today because people wanted to play earlier. Well, I'm just going to be a guide to them. But we got only a couple things to talk about, but big game tonight. Third and fourth team in the league. They are very close in the standings. They actually have the same record, 2-2. I'm actually surprised the Harrisburg Senators are 2-2. But it goes into our first point. Can they bounce back? I know. Oh, and I actually don't know. I'm a nerd. I should have this written down. They came off a very tough loss off of a beautiful goal by Baltimore, aka King. King has been soloing for Baltimore. He's basically done everything he needs to be Offensive Player of the Year. So can they, without King playing against them, can they lock down on defense and really just dominate Knoxville in their end and get it out? As hockey players say, get pucks deep and just dominate their side and control their defensive zone play. Just staying disciplined is going to be a big thing for Harrisburg. Don't make any risky plays. And that's what they did against Baltimore, and it just faltered due to King getting that beautiful pass up middle, and he just slapped that ball into the net, and I don't think anybody could save that from where they were on the field. And just staying disciplined, always knowing where each other are positioned, that would help tremendously for this Harrisburg team. And for Knoxville, it's really just staying on top of things. They came out 5-8 against the Aviators. Of course, if you've watched the Aviators, you've known they are not very hard to beat currently, but they have to stay on it. They have to stay on top of things and be disciplined in their own zone, kind of like Harrisburg. And can they stay consistent? And can Cryo keep up the pace he has been? Maybe have a little bit more hustle to him and everything. But other than that, he's been doing good. I think the whole Knoxville team has been doing good outside of, we're not going to talk about it, but the Baltimore loss, 12-1. I don't think they want to talk about it either. But it's about time for the game. I think we all know. I wish I had like a little NFL draft chime when it happened. That'd be lit. But I'll be commentating with you every step of the way. I'm Tetra. Let's cut to the chase. If they ever started the game. Or get into the kickoff positions now. And here we go. From Sovereign Heights in Knoxville. I don't know what's going on with the scoreboard right now. Hold on. Hold on. What's going on with this? Okay. It says it's working, but it's also not working. So, we're going to have normal scoreboard again. I don't know how this has happened twice in a row. We're probably going to have a test stream in Baltimore. Well, not Baltimore, but they immediately try and get it deep. Immediately what I was saying pregame. They just got to be disciplined in their own zone. I don't know what Nebulous is rocking right now. That's probably the worst combo I've ever seen in my life. In the crease now, Formula's going to get a shot. It's going to go off of Bumblebee. He's going to try and get it off. Beautiful aerial opportunity, but Nebulous is going to end up doing absolutely zero things with it that are important. Bumblebee's going to kick it deep off the right side. Harrisburg, danger zone, kicks out by St. Peter. Cryo's going to keep it in the zone, however. There's a shot. Cryo's going to take a shot. Scored! Oh, just that beautiful look. Pass to himself. Really not a pass, but beautiful pass off the wall to himself. Just center. No Harrisburg defenders can get that one. Just absolutely zero. He's locked in. That's going to be a goal. Tallied immediately. Here's Cryo again off the wall. He's really not going to do anything off the wall as Nebulous destroys his car. There's Bumblebee carrying into the zone for Harrisburg once more. Playoff spot is in big trouble. Here's Bumblebee. The shot scored again for Knoxville. That's going to be 2-zip with not even a minute played. This beautiful pass. He was about to finish off that, but just beautiful assist by Filament. A selfless play. He could have gotten that shot himself, but Bumblebee comes and cleans up that opportunity that the Filament just didn't want to take, I guess. Here's Cryo immediately coming. That boost is so scary when you see it. That beautiful fluorescent red. A lot of red boosting tonight. Here's a shot by Formula. Going to get saved by Filament. Not your face that you usually see in the crease. Fighting for it. Along the wall. Here's a shot once more. That's going to get saved by Nebulous as Cryo is just leaving the crease for some reason. I have no clue what's going on there. Here's Cryo. He's going to kick it in the corner once more. Also, y'all, I'm sorry for the inconvenience on the scoreboard. I have no clue why that's not working. Beats me as Formula destroys Bumblebee. Holy crap, but he gets in an advantageous position for where the ball ends up going, so wasn't really a good move, but you can't really control that if you're Nebulous. There's Cryo doing some tricks with the ball in his own zone. I don't really know what that plan was. Shot would have been, but saved by Bumblebees. He's going to kick it out. Into Knoxville zone once more. They're going to kick it out for the time being. Formula's the only one on the ball. That's going to run up the wall. Here comes Bumblebee. Ascending towards the ball. Going to put it in an advantageous position for the other side of the ball. But they're not going to capitalize on it. Pass with the backboards from St. Peter's at Formula. The shot scored! Holy crap! Goodness gracious! An aerial goal! I don't really have a great look on that. That's going to be just a beautiful pass from St. Peter. He's going to tuck it bottom right corner. It's going to be 2-1. Suddenly the game is not that far from reach. Maybe they just got a slow start. That's how Knoxville gets you in these games. You can see it against Buffalo. As Cryo gets a beautiful shot, but it gets saved by Nebulous in the nick of time. Here comes Filament with another shot. Going to get saved by the St. Peter and Filament Formula duo. Bumblebee. Consistent offensive zone time. I don't think we know him that much for it. Beautiful shooter, however. 50-50. Won by Formula. Another pass. Going to take a shot that's going to go way left wide. St. Peter fluttering his boosts. Comes Nebulous. In the neutral zone now. Nebulous going to take a shot. Gets saved by his own man. Potato League play. Going to get it to the neutral zone. Denied by Nebulous once again. That's going to go off the right post. Narrowly. Nebulous could have just tapped it in with a jump there. Here's Formula with another shot. Scored again by Formula! He's kicking it out tonight! And nothing but net. He hasn't missed the goal once, I don't think. Just comes in that soft spot. Once again, they didn't get it out in time. They just got to clean up that crease play, be disciplined in the defensive side of the ball. Possible future playoff matchup here. Already shaping up to be one heck of a match. There's a shot. My Nebula scored! I couldn't get a camera on that! There's a pass. Lob pass to just absolutely nowhere. Nebula's going to aerial it to the right post, and he scores immediately. Knoxville's having a hard time with those passes by St. Peter. You know, he doesn't really get much goals, but I swear he is the most prolific playmaker in this league thus far I've seen. They can't get it out once again. Filament's going to whiff. Nebulous on the shot. Scored again! I'm telling you, they can't get it out for the life of them when that ball comes in the air. Filament on the whiff. You know, they were counting on them to get it. And that's just not going to end up where they want it, which is in the back of their net. Face-off looming here. Knoxville's wondering if they can get what they did at the start of the game. Still 6 minutes left to play. I wouldn't be too worried, but about time to start picking up the pace. Nebulous going to dribble it, doing some stupid crap, as I call it. Bumblebee's going to save that one, then tries to gain possession, but gets denied by his own man. In the neutral zone, here's Bumblebee, forcing Nebulous off the play for the time being. Formula's going to try and kick it in once more. Gets denied by Cryo. Off the right wall now. Cryo's going to kick it to the corner. Here's 2 Harrisburg Senators off of that. I don't know what they were doing, DFH position. Here comes Formula off the wall. Gets denied by Bumblebee. Challenge that almost immediately. Here's St. Peter with another aerial pass. Can Knoxville get it out? Yes, they will. The buddy-buddy play. Both teammates diving for the ball. Nebulous going to try and get that sustained offensive zone pressure that we see Kamale and the River Cats do so well. Here's a cross-crease pass shot. Scored by Bumblebee! We know him for a shot. He just kind of floated that one upwards. I don't know what St. Peter was doing back there. He was just up. He was up, and then he got blown up in his own net. What kind of play was that? I'm not very sure, but it's 3-4. Harrisburg leads by 1. I don't know what kind of slowpoke game is this they're playing in the corner right now, but they end up getting it out. Here's Bumblebee. Opportunity. Here's another aerial pass by St. Peter. They're seeming to get a hold of it now. Both Knoxville defensemen will get that other crease. Here's Bumblebee with the shot. It's going to get deflected before any serious danger happens. I don't know what Formula is doing with that boost there. Nebulous hesitates a little bit, but St. Peter's got his back. Could have been really dangerous if this was a ones game. We saw him do that a lot. He struggles with his confidence sometimes. Here he comes again. Luckily, he backs up into that. Here's Formula. Filament going to take a shot by Cryo. Cryo is going to get it up into the right wall, usually known for getting the first goal. Here's St. Peter going to kick it, trying to get to the zone. Sustained offensive zone time for the Knoxville Smokies. They're going to kick it to the corner. They're socializing in net instead of, playing car soccer. Going to get a shot by Bumble. He goes off the left post. Very narrow chance. Here's Filament. They're going to kick it out of the zone. Goes into the neutral zone, but nobody's really on it except Formula. Here's a shot by Bumblebee! Gonna get saved by St. Peter. Holy crap. It's another shot. Gonna go off the right post. There. Still, the offensive zone time is killing the Harrisburg Senators right now, as St. Peter's going to get it off the wall and then immediately back up, which is going to result in Filament getting it off the wall. Hesitation's a big thing for this Harrisburg team. Can they get that under control? Knoxville. Here's Filament. Gonna try and get it off the wall. Gets denied by Formula. He's got a lot of time, but Bumblebee's gonna smother that opportunity. Here's St. Peter once again gonna take a shot. That's gonna go off the backboard. And Cryo's gonna get that out before any dangerous opportunities can be made. Here's a shot by Cryo. Nebulous can't really do much, but St. Peter's got his back once again. Here's Filament. Kicking into the zone. Here's, I don't know what that was. That just happened to the right of St. Peter, but was a shot that goes off the post. See, if all these shots resulted in goals, it'd be like 10-0. But I don't know how to count. I haven't been counting the shots that have happened. Here's a dangerous cross-crease pass. Gets saved by Nebulous before any Smokies are even there. Pass to the ceiling. Here's Cryo. Going to get denied by St. Peter again. The volume of shots by the Smokies is sheer world class. Here's Cryo. Here's Bubble with another shot. Going to get saved by St. Peter. I'll call him St. Peter for nothing. Some more offensive zone pressure, but they're going to get it out to the neutral zone for the time being. Here's Bumblebee with a decently controlled zone entries. Gets saved by St. Peter. Or cleared, for that matter. Not really saved. About 2 minutes left to play. Can the Smokies get something? Here's a shot by Formula! He scores! Hat trick for Formula Bot! I don't think we've seen that in a minute. If he can heat up, most of these opportunities wouldn't have happened if he was a little bit more defensive, but his offensive side is really showing tonight. So I don't think they care too much. Face-off won by I don't really know who. Or kickoff, rather. Bumblebee. Going to get it to the neutral zone. Here's Filament. Going to send it into the crease, but St. Peter and Nebulous are there. Here's Filament. It's Bumblebee. Brother of Bottomus Prime. Maybe we'll see these two in some type of finals match. Here's St. Peter. Gonna clear it into the zone now. Time's ticking down. Dangerous opportunity. Formula's on them. Can't really get much. They clear it out just in the nick of time. Here's Bumblebee once more. Kicking up the pace now in the neutral zone. St. Peter's going to kick it out once again. The savior of this Harrisburg squad. There's a shot by Formula that's going to get off the post. The two Octanes are on it. Here's Filament. Going to just touch the ball over to the left side. Formula with the bicycle kick. Going to get saved by Cryo. Here's another shot going to go off the backboard here. 30 seconds left to play almost. Formula with the solo man act. I have no clue what the Smokies are doing. Going to take a shot. Cryo gets a very narrow save. Holy crap. Two Smokies are just waiting for the match to end. I guess here's Cryo in the corner of the Harrisburg zone. He's going to try and get something going here with an aerial. Misses that. Here's St. Peter. He's going to try and get it out. 10 seconds remaining. Here's Formula trying to get one last shot. Going to get denied by Bumblebee. Here's an open chance. Bumblebee's going to swallow that up, but Nebulous with another save. 1 second left. The ball's in the air. Here's Cryo. See if they get one more point tally, and they can't. Senators win! 5-3. Very close game there. And that's not what you want to see from the Smokies. Filament. Let's kick it to the end scene here. Beautiful game from the Senators. They could, of course, gotten way more. I guess just out of zone time. They could have spent a lot of the time in the neutral zone. Of course, that can lead to very dangerous opportunities, as we saw against Baltimore, and they ended up losing that game. But this is a big win for the Senators, even if it was a little bit ugly. You're going to have to get those wins sometimes, and you just take them. We take those. If you're the Smokies, you got to clean it up. Bumblebee, he had an amazing game. He was all over it. Same thing with Formula Bot. Hat trick for him. That was insane. But the MVP is going to have to go to St. Peter. He bailed his team out like several times, even more than 7, I swear. This dude is the savior of his team, and it's going to be iffy to see where he places in future drafts. If you don't know, we're doing this fantasy draft thing, so if your team sucks one year, they might not suck the next year. You never know. Only time will tell, and just a fantasy draft that will happen every single season. And in the offseason, again, plugging it, we're going to do this kind of play-in tournament with new teams, and the top 2 teams are guaranteed to be in the RLBA regular season next year, which will be pretty much at the same time, except a little bit longer now that we have more teams. We're itching for about 8 teams and at least one relocation, so the team that probably does the worst in this league, this regular season, or the play-in tournaments as well, will be probably relocated. We'll tell y'all in the post in our YouTube channel for that, though. A pretty spectacular game from the Harrisburg Senators. Of course, it was a little bit ugly, but you're going to have to take those, of course. Smokies need to clean it up. I'd say Filament's got to step it up. He had a lot of opportunities in the air, and he just kind of tapped it. And sometimes you're going to have to take those touches, but really got nothing going off that. And at some point, you're going to stop saying we need to take those and stop saying just take those, and we're going to have to say, okay, we're just going to take the opportunities here and get really aggressive coming into the postseason, especially as Buffalo is heating up. And that's all for today, folks. Thank you all for coming out for probably one of the most important games thus far in the season, Week 5. We're halfway through. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching all these games and supporting me throughout it all, I thank you, because I couldn't do it without you, honestly. That'll be all from me. Always remember, Jesus loves you. And this has been the RLBA.